Greetings, colleagues. Have you ever wished for a blog that runs automatically and automatically downloads content from some news sources? Who wouldn't? Imagine not having to do anything while articles are written and money is earned. Sounds like a dream, right? Today we will try to get closer to this dream. Today we are going to look at how the Newsomatic plugin works. A link to it will be in the description. I found this plugin through a task on one of the freelance websites. In the task, there was something about the need to set up automatic posting of news on the site, and a link to the documentation. It seemed this was exactly what I had been looking for a long time, and I began to figure out what was what. Let's go through this step by step. What intrigued me was the information about the API access. Unlike subscription-based services with monthly fees, access is granted permanently once you purchase the Newsomatic plugin for $49. In other words, you pay once and can use the plugin on your site, and freely use API requests to fetch news for other owned sites. The API access interested me more than the plugin itself. The basic setup of the plugin is quite simple. You generate an API token, insert it into the plugin, and then you're ready to configure news parsing from news sources. But the general setup doesn't stop with entering the token. There are about 100 settings fields in the general settings. I didn't adjust all 100 fields, but I can highlight a few. The TextRaiser automatically selects keywords from the downloaded article. There are various options for translating text. Just fill in the token from DeepL, Google Translator, or Microsoft Translator. The headless browser API key allows you to work with news sources that generate feeds not in plain HTML, but through JavaScript. You can specify a list of proxy servers if your server has been blocked. The short-test website setting apparently allows you to monetize your site immediately. You can list prohibited words. By entering an API key from Pexels, Pixabay, or Flickr, royalty-free images are automatically selected for the news. And some other settings that aren't immediately clear. Moving on to news parsing settings. From the list of news sources, there seems to be access to over 1,700 sites. You can choose a specific site, or category, or select all sources, and then filter the news feed using keywords and other filtering parameters. For my experiment, I chose topics related to cryptocurrencies and quickly selected several source sites with the keyword crypto in their names. For each chosen data source, there are about 60 different setting fields. These include filtering parameters, keywords, the country of the news, or the language it's written in. Here, you also find settings for posts, like which category to assign the post to, what to name it, and which keywords to add. There are options to use various variables for text information. This will likely be useful for those building entire blog networks based on this plugin. Next in the settings is an important checkbox: try to get full article content. If it's not checked, and by default, it isn't, the blog post created will be just a summary, not the entire post. Moreover, the summary might not even be complete, as it's likely pulled from the site's RSS feed. With the box checked, the plugin attempts to save the full news information. The results depend on the news source, how the news text structure is organized, and the chosen scraping options. In some cases, this will result in a complete post, but in others, human or artificial intelligence intervention will be necessary. Interestingly, the plugin doesn't yet utilize AI settings like ChatGPT, but that seems only a matter of time. But there are also other options for finer information scraping settings, such as removing certain HTML tags for preservation. After selecting a news source, we can immediately execute the Run This Rule Now action, which downloads posts to the site according to the set rule. I can only say that without fine-tuning the news saving settings, achieving acceptable quality automatic posts is unlikely. In this area, I plan to experiment with automatically integrating ChatGPT for rewriting and structuring information in saved posts. Do you think OpenAI could complement this plugin's functionality? In just a few days of the plugin's operation, was successfully saved over 100 posts on the site. Apparently, creating an automatic news site on autopilot using this plugin is a good scheme. But let's talk about the API. As a reminder, purchasing the plugin gives you unlimited time access to the news feed via the API. My first API request revealed that it doesn't return the full text of the news. Disappointed, I wrote to support asking how to retrieve the full news text. Their response was, getting full content is not possible from the API, it is possible only from the Newsomatic plugin. Newsomatic uses a readability module to scrape content from websites. Please check an example readability library here, followed by a link to the library. The library link will also be in the description. It could be useful whether or not you will use the module. In the API's news search requests, you can use keywords, specify or exclude certain sources, set news date ranges, and languages in which the news is written, as well as specify countries and categories for the news search. It's a good set of tools for segmenting your search. Remember, there's a limit of 500 requests per day. To me, that seems more than enough for various kinds of experiments. As I mentioned earlier, my next step is to integrate ChatGPT with the posts. If you're interested in the outcome, let me know in the comments. And overall, do you think this tool would be useful for your business?